game. Blouses.
Gallon chuck.
Disaster.
Spaghetti.
Disaster.
Well, I mean, I'm no doctor.
We now join America's most popular show, already in progress. Everybody loves
Mitch and Sean. You guys are the greatest duo.
Fantastic.
That team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Welcome into the Post Game Pints podcast once again, and this is a special wrestling edition. Yes, with WrestleMania weekend, we just had to do a wrestling weekend, and I'm not ashamed. I watch wrestling. I love wrestling. I'm into it. There's things I hate about it for sure, but they hook me in, and it's WrestleMania weekend. And one day, Mitch Gallo, you and I are going to bring the Post Game Pints podcast live to WrestleMania, just not during a COVID pandemic. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Yeah. You're going to have to teach me some things during this podcast.
It's fine.
Because
it's not me. It's not me. You got a guest coming.
Yeah. I get it. I'm trying to get geared up for WrestleMania. I find 2 days is one day too long for WrestleMania. I think they're trying to. They do too much now. I can't sit through Raw. It's too long. SmackDown's decent. There's just too much. It's oversaturated, Campbell. But I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. And I still PVR. I have WWE Network. I still PVR old episodes of Nitro and old episodes of Raw.
Of course.
Just some of the current stuff you're going to have to sell me on. I did enjoy the Royal Rumble, though.
Yeah, so no, we'll be fine. And that's why I can't sell you anything. That's why we brought a guest today. First of all, Post Game Pints podcast brought to you by LaBrosse Brewery. LaBrosse, check it out, LaBrosse.com, and 133 LaBrosse in Point Claire. Stopped by the other day, saw everybody, Alex, Dan, Catherine, Troy's there. I mean, I got my Campbell play-by-play IPA. What are you drinking right there, Mitch Gallo, tonight?
I got nice blonde beer.
Oh, the blonde.
Yeah,
I like it. So they got great blonde. You could get your James Blonde. You started earlier than me. I had to get home from work, so great. But you could go.
I was just
go get an Angry Gallo T-shirt though. Angry Gallo T-shirt.
Look at that. You like that?
I do like that. I do like that. Before we bring in our guest, we got to bring in Dave. Are you in on the wrestling episode? Are you? I know I can see you now, but can everybody see you? Dave Trenadewey, everybody.
Dave's not here, man.
What's up?
There you go.
However.
All right. Okay, because Dave, I know you love your wrestling. We wanted you to be part of this episode too, and you usually join us for the pop quiz.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for inviting me, and I can't wait.
Dave's an interesting wrestling fan, Campbell, because I feel like Dave knows everything that's going on, but never watches. I feel like all he does is read about wrestling and read about what's going to happen eventually in wrestling, but is never actually sitting down and watching wrestling.
That's a fair assessment.
All right. Well, look, without further ado, because I know he's waiting and I want to use up all our time with our guest today. He's your friend. He's my friend. He is the guy that I turn to absolutely all the time when I want to talk wrestling, get wrestling information. When I'm watching a match, Mitch, and it's at a pay-per-view, I have to go and check his Twitter feed. That's Dave Simon. Dave Simon from the Ringside Report. He decided to take his time to join us on the Post Game Pints podcast. You want to check out the Ringside Report. You got watch alongs, after shows, everything, YouTube. I mean, you guys are everywhere. Well, first things first, Dave, thanks for joining us on the Post Game Pints podcast.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So
great to see you, Dave.
Great to see you, man. Good to see
you. Yeah. And Campbell, you know what?
We
obviously go back quite a way with Dave. I've actually gone to wrestling with Dave. I remember Dave got me tickets, TNA, when TNA was first trying to break out.
So jealous.
I think Dave myself and a few of Dave's friends might have been the only people in the, I guess, high school. I don't even remember where that was, but it was a small venue, that's for sure.
It was Pierre Charbonneau Arena, I think, the one right next to the Biodome there near the Olympic Stadium. Yeah. That was a good show. Samoa Joe was there, Christian was there, Kurt Angle was in the main event, Johnny North was there attending with us. That was a good wrestling show.
Yeah, Kurt Angle. I remember at the end he went on a rant about how big TNA was going to be. So he might have overstepped there. Yeah, but I agree with you. That was a heck of a card.
I mean, say what you want about TNA though. Years later, after so many people have predicted their death, they're still a wrestling company. Impact Wrestling survives, and they might be thriving now more than they have in the past 5 years. It's kind of crazy.
Is it David Arquette that's keeping that alive?
No. It's the Asper family. They own Anthem Entertainment. They own the Fight Network. They own HD Net. I think they called it something else, but they're a big family out of Winnipeg. They have a lot of money, big media family, and they bought Impact Wrestling from Dixie Carter.
All right, so just before we get into Mania, this because it's Mania weekend, one of the reasons why I got to talk about the other wrestling. I love seeing the Good Brothers from Impact on AEW. Like I think it's so smart, like just to cross over, to be part of the show. Like it's one of those things. Integration, David. I know you like it when Kenta came over from New Japan.
Yes,
like that stuff's just awesome.
Yeah, I like the crossover. I like what they're doing. Tony Khan calling it the Forbidden Door. I think it's very cool that they're opening up that Forbidden Door, allowing different wrestling companies to work with each other. It changes wrestling. It really does, and it makes the WWE have to kind of adjust at the same time. And they're not really going to do too much, but Chris Jericho is going to be on Steve Austin's podcast. They recognize that working with certain people that aren't necessarily in the family right now is a good idea, and it's working with Impact. I think I'm not sure how much AEW is really benefiting from that. To me, Kenny Omega, the world champion, showing up on Impact does way more for Impact than it does for AEW. I tune into Impact to see Kenny, and I don't know how many people from Impact are going over to AEW. I think most people that watch AEW are probably watching Impact, or rather, most people watch Impact probably watching AEW anyway. So I think it helps Impact a lot more, but that's good. Helping Impact is good for the wrestling business too.
Yeah, Dave, I have to tell you, I was absolutely shocked, flabbergasted, stunned when I saw the promo for Chris Jericho going on Stone Cold's podcast, which is broadcasted on WWE Network. The fact that Vince McMahon said yes, like Austin apparently went to McMahon and asked him first. The fact that McMahon said yes blew my mind.
He asked him twice. He was like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vince saying yes makes sense. Jericho, the way Austin kind of put it, the way Austin tells the story, it's late one night. Jericho's watching Austin do the interview with The Undertaker on his podcast, and Jericho is watching it and enjoying it at his house, and then he texts Austin about it, telling him how great of a job he did, and then they call each other. So if you know Chris Jericho, this is kind of later at night. He's watching a wrestling show. He's probably having a couple of drink skis. It might be
a couple
drunk,
vodka sodas. Yeah.
Exactly. It might be drunk-a-co at that point. And I don't know if his decision-making faculties were at their highest, and Jericho can kind of do whatever he wants in AEW. I don't know how much that helps AEW. Again, I feel like Jericho being on Steve Austin's podcast right after Mania is something that everybody's going to want to see. They want to see, is Jericho going to talk about AEW on this WWE show, which how does that really help AEW other than, maybe exposing it to some people that haven't seen it before on the WWE network? And that, there's a legitimate argument there, but I find it interesting that AEW is allowing their talent to appear on WWE television when there would be absolutely no way that Vince McMahon would allow any WWE talent on any other wrestling show other than his own, right?
Maybe just because it's Jericho, though, because I know that Vince and Jericho has always had a strong relationship, and maybe it got skewed a little bit when he left, but it is Jericho. I don't know. Maybe that holds a little bit, Dave.
Maybe, but I think that they could do it with Big Show Paul White. They could do it with Christian. They could do it with Jim Ross. I think Jim Ross on the Steve Austin podcast would be really good on the WWE Network. There are a number of AEW talents that I think they would do that with. Moxley, Matt Hardy. I mean, I think they would do it. If they're willing to do it, the WWE would take them on one of those shows. Why not? It helps the WWE Network. It makes people want to tune in. It adds credibility to the network. It's not just a wrestling show. It's real interviews with people from other companies. At the same time, it's AEW helping the WWE Network, which I don't know how much they really want to do that.
All right. So, Dave, we got you on because it's WrestleMania weekend. And look, we're all Quebecers. Let's start with the match. My boy, I know I love Kevin Owens, but I got my Sami Zayn shirt on today. My boy, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'll tell you this. I'm excited that they're facing each other at WrestleMania and they put this together. But I do feel, and I've been catching and watching everything, they threw this together like last minute. I felt like it was a really last minute. Like, I don't care how they threw it together. WrestleMania, these two guys going to face each other. I'm expecting an incredible match because that's what they do. And they know each other so well. But man, did I feel like they threw this together 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's very much the theme of this WrestleMania. A lot of these matches just kind of sloppily thrown together. Not a great build to much really on this card. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn on paper is a fantastic match. It should be really good. We've seen it, thousands of times at this point, and it's always great. To get it at WrestleMania, I think is fantastic. I'm very happy to see it, but Kevin was tied up with Roman Reigns for a really long time. He had that whole feud going with him. He came off of that, and he just entered into this brief Sami Zayn program, which really started, like you said, 2-3 weeks ago. It's been heating up. Adding Logan Paul on SmackDown last week is huge for that angle. I love that. And he's going to be at WrestleMania too. This guy is everywhere. Both of these guys, the Paul brothers, they are everywhere these days. Everywhere I turn, MMA, boxing, pro wrestling, these guys are involved. So getting him for this match definitely added a little spice to it for WrestleMania. You want that celebrity factor, and they got that. So it's not just Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. It's a Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn WrestleMania match with Logan Paul ringside. It adds a lot to it. The match in the ring will be great, but whatever they do with Logan Paul, hopefully they can get him physically involved. I'd like to see him take a stunner at the end. I think that would be great from Kevin Owens, right?
Man, they've come a long way since, I saw both of those guys at Foofs back in the day,
right?
On St. Catherine. I mean, these guys, how big is it for them to do it? And how much of, does Kevin Owens really needs a win here, right? I mean, like, he's lost a couple in a row against Roman Reigns. Like, how do you think he's being treated on SmackDown?
I mean, it's tough, right? Because he's not going to be the guy. He's not going to be the top guy on SmackDown right now. That spot's reserved for Roman Reigns. They had other plans for WrestleMania and the main event for Roman. They have Edge. Daniel Bryan found his way in there. So he's in a tough spot, but I think overall he's being treated rather well by the WWE. He's being paid really well. He was in a several pay-per-view long feud with Roman Reigns, who is the top guy in the company, and he helped Roman have his best matches as world champion. And I think that will help Kevin Owens down the road, and it definitely raised his stock. So I think they gave him a big spot to shine over the past few months, and he did a really, really good job. He knocked it out of the park, and now probably gets a win here over Sami Zayn. Sami in the WWE, I'm not really sure how long he sticks around. I think he probably takes the money and stays, but Sami's a very creative guy, and I could see him wanting to flex his creative muscles somewhere else. So, this could be the last Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match we see for a long time. And 10, 15, 20 years down the road, they might look at this match and remember it very fondly. This might be a very, very special match for, Montreal wrestling fans, but especially for Kevin and Sami, two guys that broke into the business together and now broke into the big time together. They're on the biggest stage. And, this is a match that they could talk about when they're old men together.
Well, Dave, I hope it's not the case with Sami Zayn, and I'll tell you why. the WWE has some decent villains, heels right now. I like it with Roman Reigns and adding Paul Heyman. That's been good for Reigns and his character. The Miz can play the heel, but the way Sami Zayn does it, it's like nobody else. He is the only true coward, good shit talker, all around heel that you want to see lose, but there's a piece of you that wants to see win too because of how cowardly he is. And I don't think there's anybody like him right now.
Yeah, he's very entertaining. He's super entertaining. You saw him in that Logan Paul segment on SmackDown, dancing around. He's
so good.
And he's all in with the character. That's the thing. He's fully involved. He is down. He's willing to make himself look as terrible as possible. You see his hair. It looks awful. He knows he looks awful. The greasy side hair and the stupid tuxedo he was wearing. He's doing it to get heat, and it's great. And he's very funny. He's very entertaining. You can't help but appreciate him. And in the ring, he's always been one of the better guys in the company. So, yeah, Sammy's fantastic. He's one of the underrated stars, I think, in the WWE. I feel like most wrestling fans don't appreciate him as much as they should. But, when his career's said and done, he'll be a Hall of Famer. He's a legend.
Yeah, I just love that part of him, that just doesn't care. He's gonna, I remember the Hall of Fame speech of Kurt Angle, where he kind of goes off. He's like, "Hey guys, you got to kind of make a fool of yourself. Don't be afraid to let go. It's not going to hurt what you do in the ring. You're creating a character. You could go either way after." And I think even Sami Zayn doing this will benefit him when he wants to be strong, when he doesn't have to be a coward, because people know that he can wrestle. Look, there's so many matches, there's so many things, and I want to try to squeeze. Plus, we have a pop quiz that I'm actually gonna give to you, Gallo, and Dave, and I want to squeeze it in at the end of the show here on the Post Game Pints podcast. By the way, just want to give it a little shout out to wolfpacks.ca, monthly subscription fee for your dog. Get a little package. I know they had the hockey package. Now they have the travel package. Wolfpacks.ca. Gallo, what is it?
Woof, 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 woof.
Wolfpacks.ca. And I know that Freddie, Dave, thumbs up for Freddie. I know that Freddie loves his package and Vader loves his that they got from Wolfpacks. Dave, I got to ask you, though, is there any way Edge doesn't win the title on the 10-year anniversary of him putting it down?
Oh, I hope he doesn't. I hope Daniel Bryan wins. You know me. I'm Daniel Bryan all the way. I hope
I'm Edge
Daniel Bryan
through and through. I know he's going to win, and I expect him to win, and I don't care. I'm so happy he's back.
I hate when, I'm with Dave and Campbell. You know that. We watch wrestling. I love Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I just feel like I despise when there's a triple threat match where I could completely rule out one of the opponents. And I feel that way with Daniel Bryan. I just feel like the WWE isn't going to put the belt on him.
Never say never.
Right.
Never say never. I look at this match as the best match. There's 2 nights of WrestleMania. This is the match. Roman, Edge, Bryan. This is the match. I think on paper, it's going to deliver. Story, build, promos, it's delivered. Roman is on the run of his career right now, is this heel champion, this top guy who tells the WWE what to do. He is fantastic in this role. Daniel Bryan had a tremendous match with him on the last pay-per-view. They are going
I agree. That was great.
Such a great match. And I think that Edge involved as well, seeing Daniel Bryan and Edge in the ring together for a title at WrestleMania. You throw in the biggest star of this generation, Roman Reigns. It really doesn't get much bigger or better than this. For wrestling fans, you can't complain. The build has been perfect. The wrestlers are all great. They're all top of the line. And you don't really know what's going to happen. I'm not sure Daniel Bryan won't win. I think Roman has a good chance of retaining. I think Edge could definitely come out as the champion again. I don't really know. I don't want to see Edge win because he doesn't need to win.
Yeah, but I want him to win.
Famer.
Yeah, I know he's a Hall of Famer, but I just want him to win because he's Edge, and I know I'm probably the oldest one here, and I go back and like Edge to me, like I want Edge to win the title, and I want Christian to win the title, and I want them to have the 2 titles in AEW and WWE. That's what I like. I'm old school that way, and I would love to see that. and I like being surprised. I want, like, if Roman Reigns walks out with it, I'll be like, oh wow, I'm surprised. And I like when wrestling does that to me. I really do. But this is a match. I'm ready to watch it, but I am 100% certain Edge is winning.
Wow.
I think it'd be a mistake to take the title off of Roman right now. I think he's on the greatest run of his career in terms of, title runs. And I think with his work with Paul Heyman, I think that he can't afford a loss. I think that Roman, I am almost 100% convinced Roman wins, to be honest. So that's the way I think. The only way I see Daniel Bryan winning is if they want to end, it's their first, show with fans in a while, and they want to end it on a positive note with everybody yesing it. They want that visual. I could see Daniel Bryan.
But you'll get the visual with Edge.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like a heel now, anyways.
No, but you'll get the visual with Roman Reigns if he does it Roman Reigns style, and the place is just cascade. They finally they did like 7 years of force feeding Reigns to being a face, and now people finally get to boo him. They boo him pretty well. Like, he's quality heel.
Yeah, Roman is a serious heel, and he's the only guy in his prime right now. He's the only guy that's really on top. Edge is way past his prime. I am struggling with the idea of putting a world title on him at this stage of his career. He's done it all. He doesn't need to be champion. And if he's champion, then what? Like, who challenges Edge after Edge beats Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan in one night? Who can really step up to Edge at that point? There's nobody that's been built on SmackDown that's a real logical threat for Edge. And I don't necessarily see Edge sticking on SmackDown. I think he probably goes back to Raw. I struggle with the concept of Edge having a lengthy title run. I could see them giving it to Edge, switching it back to Roman, or switching it to a guy like Kevin Owens or even Sami Zayn if they really want to run with a guy like that. Seth Rollins could take it from Edge very easily, very quickly at the next pay-per-view after Mania. But
don't they do a switch?
Options, but keeping Edge long term is not good.
Dave? Don't they do a draft or a switch right after Mania?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they push it until kind of mid, early summer. May, late May, kind of early June.
Okay.
So it's possible that they do a draft and they switch the belts. But Roman right now as the world champion on SmackDown is just working so well. If I were to bet on it, I would bet on Roman. I really would, because he's the guy, and yeah, it's Roman, right? But ending the night with a happy note, ending the night with that big pop, is something the WWE likes to do at Mania, and this is going to be the second night's main event. So I could see a babyface winning, which, Edge and Daniel Bryan. That's why going into this match, I'm not really sure, and I don't want to be sure. I want to enjoy it. I want to sit back like everybody else. And, I watch a lot of this stuff. I'm pretty cynical when it comes to wrestling, but sometimes there's matches, WrestleMania title match, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman. I sit back and I enjoy it like a fan, and I love it.
Well, Dave, I love being surprised. So, do you think we could see any surprises along the way? I saw a report where Triple H was teasing maybe a veteran, somebody coming back, some type of surprise of that nature. Don't know. We haven't seen Brock. We haven't seen Cena. Is there any surprise as far as appearances at this WrestleMania?
That's tough. I think Cena is unlikely. Brock is possible, but I don't really see a reason for Brock. Honestly, if I were the WWE and reading the tea leaves of Triple H and kind of what he says and dropping little hints and little nuggets and swerves, if I were to bet on a surprise, I would bet on CM Punk for WrestleMania. As crazy as that sounds,
that would be sick.
That's a pop.
That is a bombshell.
I think I'm not sure he
Punk,
shows up.
Edge.
I'm not saying
Punk and Edge. There's your guy for Edge.
Yeah, I mean, that would be massive. Something like that. I could see Punk. I don't think it's going to be somebody that you're expecting that's kind of in the fold already. I think that they bring somebody in like a Punk. And I think Punk is the guy right now. And I think Punk is at the stage of his career where he might want some money, and WWE is going to shell out the big bucks.
Yeah,
I can see it happening.
You could solve all problems and personal problems with money. Just quickly, because there's a couple things I want to get to you, because I want to make the most of our time with you, Dave. Dave Simon from the Ringside Report. Ringside Report. Make sure WrestleMania weekend you follow Ringside Report after every live show, and it's not just wrestling, by the way. It's boxing, it's MMA, UFC, you name it. They've got you covered from front to back, and it's one of my favorites. Even if you're at home in these COVID pandemic times, you used to watch wrestling with your friends. They do watch long parties. It's like you're watching with them. Dave, you guys do such a good job with that. Just a couple things. What about, they've been teasing it for years. You said big name Gallo. What about if Triple H comes out at some point and makes an appearance? There might be a Rock tease. Triple H and Rock have been teasing something for years.
For Rock, I would do Roman. Like if The Rock is going to show up, he's going to show up after Roman wins, and he's going to rock bottom Roman Reigns to send everybody home happy. And you set up Roman Rock next year for Mania.
Okay.
If The Rock shows up, that's what he does. I don't think he wrestles Triple H, because Roman's whole deal is, I'm head of the table, I'm head of the family. And you know what family he's talking about. He's talking about the Anoa'i family, the Samoan wrestling dynasty. And
The Rock has a TV show about it.
I mean, exactly. And Roman is saying his whole gimmick is, I'm the boss of this family. Everybody kind of bows down to me. Rock can come in and say, pardon me, sir. Like, no, everybody bows down to me in the family. I'm Dwayne. You forget about me. So that's the story. That's Mania. And I hope they do it. I really do, because this Roman Reigns character deserves that match. And Rock Roman is something that they've been dancing around for years. It would be so good. They could tell a very good story for it next year at Mania. I could see Rock showing up after the match to, Roman retaining, but Rock still sending the fans home happy by beating up Roman.
All right. So before we get to the Cunningham's Pub pop quiz, which I have for all three of you, you guys can work together on this one before we wrap things up here on the Post Game Pints podcast. I want to do a quick rapid fire. So Dave and Gallo, make sure you have a quick question for Dave or two. Dave, I like to do this pretty quick, just quick rapid fire. I'm going to start things off. Women's division right now, is it struggling without Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair, who's I don't know where right now?
Yeah, but it's the WWE's fault. It's the WWE's fault for not booking Charlotte Flair or Bayley at WrestleMania. The women's division would be a lot better off if the WWE focused a little bit more attention on the women's division. Currently, we have 2 women's matches on both nights. It's a 7-match card, 5 men's matches, 2 women's matches. I think you could have added another women's match on both nights. I think you could have had 3 women's matches and 4 men's matches, and you would have been all right. Or at least a 3rd women's match on one of the nights. The fact that Charlotte Flair and Bayley are not booked at WrestleMania,
so weird. Joke. All right, Dave.
What about Shane McMahon? He's always good for a big WrestleMania moment. What's going to be his moment this year? He's in a cage match with Braun Strowman.
He's going to get thrown off a cage. He's going to get thrown through a table. Some shit's going to happen. He's going to make Braun Strowman look really stupid. This is a stupid angle. I hate this match so much.
I agree.
Dave, am I wrong to not give a shit about Drew McIntyre against Bobby Lashley?
No, fuck Drew McIntyre. Boring. The feud's been awful. Sucks. Boo.
Yeah. All right.
Awful
so
match.
How about not boring? How about my boy Cesaro finally getting a one-on-one match? It's against Seth Rollins. It's a weird match, but I don't mind the angle they're playing. And I hope at the end of it, they become allies.
Do you see Cesaro's promo a couple weeks ago?
The love one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Not good.
You didn't like that, eh?
I mean, the guy can't talk. That promo showed us why Cesaro's not a main event.
Perfect with Rollins. Would he not be perfect
as a
with
tag
Rollins?
team?
No, a tag team or he's like follow the vision, and after the fight, he follows the vision and goes with him.
I guess, but this whole Vision Seth Rollins Messiah gimmick is I fall asleep every time he starts talking. Terrible.
All right. I just what's the other match I wanted?
Dave,
go ahead, Gallo.
How do you feel about Alexa Bliss throwing fireballs at Randy Orton? The ridiculousness of this feud and the setup for him to go up against the Fiend.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. I think it's so dumb. I think the black stuff coming out of Randy's mouth was ridiculous. I love that at a certain point, Randy, like when it first started happening, he was freaked out about it. And then by the end, he just got a towel and was like, "Yeah, it's all right. It'll pass. Don't worry, guys. It's just some voodoo curse that Alexa Bliss put on me." It's such a dumb angle. A couple weeks ago, Randy admitted that he thought his match at Fastlane against Alexa Bliss was just going to be him beating up Alexa Bliss. He didn't think the Fiend would interfere. Like, how stupid is this Randy Orton character? Everybody knew the Fiend was going to show up except stupid old Randy. It's dumb. It's a waste of Alexa Bliss because she could be wrestling, but she's not. She's doing this stupid shit. And Randy and Bray have wrestled at Mania before, and it was really bad. You guys probably don't remember it because you try to block it out of your memory.
You put the worms on the ring.
Yes, the graphics on the ring. Awful.
All right. So I got a pop quiz here for you guys. Okay. I want to get to this here on the Post Game Pints podcast. I did the research. Hopefully the numbers and all that stuff is good. You guys can work together. All right. And I'm trying to think because I have 11 names on this list. Okay. I have 11 names. How many wrong answers do you guys want in 11 names? I know you don't know the category yet, but
I don't know the question.
What?
I don't know the question.
Okay. Hey, I'll give you the question. Then you have to tell me how many wrong answers you're allowed. All right. So the question is, I want to know for wrestlers that have had at least 8 matches at WrestleMania, who are the ones that have a winning record? But they had to have at least been in 8 matches at WrestleMania, but a winning record. Okay. How many wrong answers do you guys want to be allowed? 2 each? 6?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
There's 11 names on this list.
All right, let's cross off the obvious one.
I think Dave's ready to rattle off 11 right now.
I got a couple. I don't know.
Let's knock off the obvious one, Campbell.
Yeah.
So we'll knock off the Undertaker. Now we got 10 to go.
Yeah,
okay, Taker is 25-2. There you go.
Yeah. No shit.
Now I'm also going to guess that Hogan has a winning record at WrestleMania.
Hulk Hogan 8-3-1. Very good, Gallo.
That's a good one.
Dave, you got something for us? Simon, I'll go Dave Simon. He's our guest here on Post Game Pints. Winning record.
Gallo took some good ones. Because the 8 matches is the thing, you have to be in the 8.
Well, it's just because I didn't want a guy that was like 2. I didn't want a guy that was like 3-2, on this list.
Okay.
They all at least have 5.
Give me The Rock.
The Rock is at 6-5. Very good.
There we go.
Oh, I got one. I think Edge.
7-4.
Nice.
So far, you got 4.
I have another one. I'm
Cena, John Cena.
Hold on. Dave said John Cena.
Cena was obvious.
10-5, John Cena.
Easy one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Bret Hart.
Bret Hart 8-6.
Oh,
so
nice.
You guys got the ones with 8 more. So it's Taker, Cena, Hart, and Hogan all with 8. Edge with 7. Rock with 6. So you guys haven't had a wrong answer. You got 6 out of the 11 so far.
Randy Savage.
Randy Savage 7-4. Macho Man. Good job so far, guys.
I want to say. I think this is gonna be a wrong answer, but I'm going for it anyways. Okay, guys, can I do it?
Go for it.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold is incorrect.
Fuck, I knew it. Not enough manias. Not enough manias.
He's at 7. He's at 7 manias. He's at 7. I believe he's 5-2 though. I believe he's 5-2, but 7 manias.
Yeah, I got 2 more at the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll go with Brock.
Brock, incorrect.
Yeah, not enough manias.
Not enough manias. Oh, and am I done after 2?
I got one. Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Nope. I think he has a losing record.
What? How dare they do that to Sean?
He just steals the show and loses. Let's see.
How about Kurt Angle?
Kurt Angle. That's your fourth wrong answer.
Oh no!
So now you have 4. You have 2 answers.
I have
you're
more
allowed 6.
guesses, but I've got 2 wrong answers. So guys, I'm just gonna mime things. Okay?
Yeah. How about this? Do you guys? You want a clue?
Sure.
3 are still active.
Man, has Roman done enough? Has Roman done 8? He's been
Pretty
around
close.
He's been around forever, man. Even
Well, what?
Is that an answer? Is that a guess?
Yeah, let's go
hold
Roman.
on.
No, Dave.
Yeah, go for it.
He's counting the matches in his head.
Yeah, that's a wrong answer.
No.
Somebody very close to him though.
Seth.
6 and 3, Seth Rollins.
There you go.
Okay, guys. What about like someone like Jericho? Did he do enough?
I don't know if he's had. He's had a lot of mania. I'm wondering about.
He's definitely had enough manias. I just don't know if he has a winning record.
I'm wondering about Triple H because he's had a bunch of manias, but he loses a lot too.
Yeah,
Dave, he's lost like the last 5 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
But he's won a lot too.
Well, you guys got 90 seconds here to throw out some names.
I think his last one was against Sting.
What about a woman?
What about Shane?
Shane? Incorrect.
Shane definitely.
No, Shane hasn't
That's your
won
6th.
enough.
That's your 6th wrong
Oh,
answer.
we're wrong. We didn't get it.
But you're allowed. You got 6. You guys are missing Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan.
He's had 8 manias.
You know,
5
the
and
only
3.
reason I didn't pick Daniel Bryan is because of the stupid WrestleMania he lost in 5 freaking seconds.
Yeah. And Owen Hart, 5, 2, and 1.
Oh,
Owen Hart.
that's a tough one. I would have never got there.
Yeah. Hey,
It's
Dave.
a lot of WrestleManias.
Dave, thanks for joining us, man. Ringside Report, man. You guys do such a good job, and I want to give a shout out to you guys.
Check us out, ringsidereport.net. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe, do all the things. Get cups with my face on it. Merch.ringsidereport.net. It's good.
Nice.
And my dream is, and Dave, you know, my dream is still to be on your show one day.
All right. Well, one day, we do enough shows. You can find your way on.
Cheers, guys.
Well, how's that for your entertainment value?
They've done their job very, very well.
No.
Come on.
VBF.